If you've ever looked at a dissertation and thought, this is a 5-year mountain, you're not alone. For decades, we've equated slow with rigorous. But in 2026, that assumption no longer holds. Today, I'm going to show you how AI, used ethically and intelligently, can compress the PhD marathon into a focused 12 to 24-month sprint without sacrificing a single standard of academic integrity.
You know that traditional image of a PhD candidate, right? Someone buried under a mountain of paper for years and years? Well, by 2026, that entire landscape is going to look fundamentally different. We are moving beyond that old picture and into a brand new AI-empowered reality for doing serious, rigorous academic research.
So let's just jump right in with a pretty provocative question. Can you really get a PhD in just 1 year? I know, it sounds a little too good to be true, maybe even like a scam, but for the right kind of candidate, this is actually becoming a very real and very legitimate academic pathway.
Okay, so let's break down how this is even possible. As you can see, a traditional PhD, that can take 5, maybe even 7 years. But now, we have these established academic models like the PhD by portfolio, which, allows candidates to submit a body of their existing published work for their doctorate. Well, that model is now being supercharged by AI. And that combination is creating these rigorous, accelerated pathways that can take as little as 1 to 2 years. Now, this is not about cutting corners. It's about leveraging technology for an efficiency we've just never seen before.
So this is the crucial point, right here. The debate is over. For any serious researcher today, the question is no longer if you should use AI. The real question is how you use it strategically, and more importantly, ethically, to accelerate your doctoral journey. And that is exactly what we are going to walk through step by step.
So, how do you actually do it? Let's get practical. I'm going to walk you through a clear, actionable framework for integrating AI directly into your research. I call this the AI-powered workflow, and it's broken down into 3 really distinct phases.
The whole process is structured into these 3 phases. First up, discovery and mapping. Second is deep synthesis and analysis. And third, we have ethical drafting. Really, you should think of this as your strategic roadmap to a much more efficient and impactful dissertation.
Okay, let's start with phase 1. You know that first huge hurdle in any PhD? Just understanding the literature? I mean, traditionally, this is months and months of painstaking work. The objective here is to use AI to map that entire research landscape in a matter of days.
Now, what's so powerful here are the tools themselves. A tool like Semantic Scholar, it doesn't just find papers for you, it actually identifies the most important works and maps out the research trends automatically. Then you've got Elicit, where you can conduct a mini systematic review in just minutes, starting from a single question. Perplexity AI gives you summarized answers with direct citations, while Research Rabbit is just incredible for visualizing the networks between papers, helping you uncover those latent connections, the hidden themes between different fields that a human researcher might just completely miss. All right, let's move on to phase 2 and see how this all builds. So once you've mapped the landscape and you've gathered all your sources, the real work of synthesis begins. And the goal here is to transform what would have been weeks of manual summarization into a really structured, manageable, analytical process. So to do this, you can leverage large language models like ChatGPT or Claude to autonomously analyze these huge volumes of text. But, and this is absolutely critical, you have to pair them with a verification tool like Cite. Cite actually uses AI to check your citations and tell you if they're supporting, contrasting, or just mentioning other work. This ensures your entire argument isn't built on a house of cards, a foundation of weak or even debunked research. And finally, that brings us to phase 3, ethical drafting. The whole goal here is to construct what I call your doctoral spine. I want you to think of this as the core, coherent narrative that connects all of your research claims and powerfully states your original contribution to the field. And this just brilliantly illustrates how AI can become your ethical writing partner. You have tools like PaperPal and Writeful that help you refine your academic phrasing so it meets all the disciplinary standards. And then there's an amazing tool like Thesify that can act as a kind of reviewer-style assistant, giving you critical feedback on your draft before your supervisor even lays eyes on it.
Okay, now that we've gone through the workflow, we have to talk about the intellectual backbone of this entire approach, the ethical hardline. Honestly, this is the most important part of our entire discussion.
There is one single, non-negotiable rule you absolutely must follow. AI may support the process, but it must never, ever replace the scholarship. This is the bright line that separates ethical, powerful use from academic misconduct.
So what does that actually mean in practice?
Well, AI can absolutely support the process, things like planning your work, discovering literature, or even refining your language. But it cannot touch the scholarship. That's your hypothesis. That's your original reasoning, your unique contribution to the field. That is your work and yours alone.
This all means your work has to be built on 4 cornerstones of integrity. First, constant verification of any AI output. Second, rigorous source validation. Third, you must have total accountability for every single claim you make. And fourth, the defensibility of your own reasoning when you're in your final viva or defense. Let me be perfectly clear about this. You are the final authority on your work. If an AI suggests a citation, you are the one who must go and verify it. If it synthesizes a theme, it's on you to ensure it's accurate. Your academic integrity rests entirely on your personal commitment to verification and, where your institution requires it, disclosure. So let's bring all of this together. What we're really talking about here is building a defensible, accelerated PhD. This is a pathway that's designed specifically for the high-performing professional scholar, that mid-career executive or practitioner who's balancing a demanding job with their doctoral study. Here is your actionable checklist for 2026. Number 1, cross-verify all AI outputs. Number 2, ensure every single claim is traceable back to a valid, authoritative source. 3, attribute AI assistance if your institution requires it. And number 4, above all else, be ready to defend your own reasoning from first principles.
And I really want you to let this point sink in. Using these tools ethically and strategically doesn't weaken your academic credibility. It strengthens it. It positions you as a rigorous, forward-thinking scholar who knows how to leverage modern capabilities to produce high-quality work efficiently. So what's the ultimate takeaway from all this? AI is not a shortcut. It is a capability multiplier. It amplifies your ability to conduct groundbreaking research, but only when it is governed by your unwavering personal and scholarly integrity. And this is the final thought I want to leave you with. Technology, when we use it correctly, absolutely enhances academic rigor. But no matter how advanced it gets, the scholar, that means you, will always remain responsible.
Right, at SSBR, I had a very good experience, and what I want to say about the business school is that they collaborate with the students. They work together as a team with the students and they support them. And I'm very grateful to my supervisor and the whole team, my supervisor, Dr. Mirishaki, and the whole SSBR team. They actually worked together with me to succeed. And that was their focus, and that was the strategy, and it was very excellent. It was outstanding. I really enjoyed myself there. Thank you.
Would you recommend SSBR?
Of course, I recommend SSBR. I've started recommending SSBR already, and I do recruit as well now for SSBR. And I'm very happy to recommend SSBR to anyone, especially if you want support along the line when you're doing your PhD degree. SSBR is an option. It's a very good option. I recommend it to anyone.
Subscribe for more guidance and use the link on screen to learn more.